Hello, everyone. My name is Fiona Waddell, and welcome to How to Choose a Psychic or Intuitive Reader for Your Reading. I have traveled all over Canada doing psychic tarot readings, mediumship, medical intuitive readings, and for several years I have been teaching empaths and intuitives and the everyday person to tap into this energy and the magic, the metaphysics of working with their intuition and strengthening those abilities. So, I wanted to get back to the nuts and bolts. Even though I spend most of my time now teaching, I still do readings. And I hear stories about not so good readings, and I hear stories about really good readings from other readers. And I like to share that with my students so that when they go out into the world, they know what to do and what not to do. So, first of all, what is a psychic or an intuitive? They're exactly the same thing. Somebody who embraces the title psychic has been working on their intuition, their intuitive skills for a long time. And now they're ready to offer those services. They are literally the same thing. But that could be a whole other video trying to explain the intricacies of that. But let's just say a psychic, they've embraced that more advanced title. So, what is an intuitive? Well, first of all, an intuitive is someone who trusts the unseen messages. They have a high sense of trust. They feel safe receiving those messages and delivering them or using them, taking action. Somebody who is intuitive is also someone who has extensively practiced receiving messages and delivering and receiving feedback on the delivery, so that they're not giving their opinions and what they think. They are actually just delivering the message. And so a psychic intuitive is someone essentially who has learned to trust the unseen, working through those clairs, those soft sciences, unlike our hard science, our senses, like taste, sight, touch, hearing. There, they work with the clairs, the soft senses. Um, the best way I can explain it is we know the spectrum of light, right? That little rainbow thing we see in like grade 7, grade 6 science class. And our eye can only see this much of that spectrum, just a little bit. Meanwhile, there's this huge section outside of there that our eyes can't see, but it still exists. Like there's still UV, there's still Wi-Fi radio signals, all that stuff's happening. So just because we can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So when somebody is intuitive, they have created a sense of safety, worked on their nervous system so that their brain doesn't filter out those unseen and they start receiving. So I'm going to start off with the red flags or what to be cautious of, because I can actually check off some of these myself, but I don't necessarily use it as a marketing tool. So these are just things to be aware of what it actually means. As someone who has taught lots of students from all areas who don't fit any of these categories, because everyone has access to their intuition. And if they keep practicing and they want to become a psychic and offer services, they can. So, first one is saying they are a generational, third generation, fifth generation psychic or reader. Ta-da! What that actually means is that they were probably brought up in a household where it was safe to trust those messages. And so they trusted them. So they were more intuitive, naturally intuitive. It was a skill they were taught, unlike other people who were taught to, like, we don't say that stuff. Oh, she's just a little wild, a little crazy. Just if they're a generational reader, it just means they were brought up in a household where they were able to receive those messages. But here's the caveat. Did they get training? And what I mean by that, it doesn't mean they have less access. Are they a safe person to get a reading from? Do they start talking about themselves? Do they respect your energy? Do they go off topic with like really awkward or unprofessional topics? Um, do they bulldoze you in a reading? Like they don't understand it's an energetic conversation, a give or take. So that's the bee's knees on being the generational. There's nothing wrong with being a generational reader. It means you were open to it and you were able to receive the trust. It doesn't mean you have some magic genetic predisposition. It just means you built neural pathways in your nervous system to trust those messages more than the average person, and everybody else has to catch up to where you're at. But you might be absolute crap at actual delivery or the readings. It's like when we look at actors, right? Oh, they might be fourth generation actor, but can they act? They might have a creative streak, but maybe they're going to be an amazing painter or a dancer. Hmm. So just food for thought. This is just to make you think twice. And when you see people who their main marketing tool is, I'm a fifth generation so and so, okay, that's great. That means you trust. You know, you were brought up in that environment, but can you read? Next is the NDE, the near death experience. So, what happens when somebody has an NDE? They cross over and they can see things and they are literally on a different energetic plane. I understand that. I didn't necessarily die, but I almost drowned. I almost drowned at summer camp. And I can understand how if you survive something that's either traumatic or an NDE, you just trust in a different way. You just know there is another, like other. There is something unseen. And it's hard to explain if you haven't been there, guys. Or had that like sudden like see your life flash before you. Like I remember being under the water and not being able to get to the top. I could see the people standing on the docks looking down going, they didn't know I was down there at first. So they were just looking and I couldn't get help. Couldn't get help. Couldn't swim. And they had to come get me. And that changes your energy. That you put a trust, you have your nervous system works slightly differently. Like you have a trust towards the unseen and knowingness, self-efficacy that is just going to work out. That's a strength for your intuition. That strengthens your intuition leaps and bounds. So having an NDE or a traumatic event similar to it, it can create awareness and a newfound trust. But does it suddenly make you awaken you, activate these unseen skills like a switch that flips? No, because we all have access to it. I've had people who have had regular, good old lives, no NDs, not generational. You know, they work in offices and they can do the most amazing butt kicking readings because they've practiced and they've learned to trust. Okay. So just put that in your bonnet. So it means they have this trust. And again, it goes back to the generational energy. Have they practiced? Have they studied? Do they have experience? And again, if you're at a fair or if you're looking at their website, just look at their experience. You know what I mean? Like any testimonies or their background and their trainings. This just to give you an idea. Again, I fall into some of these categories myself. Third, I'm just blessed. I've been blessed. I'm blessed. What are the rest of us? Hmm. Yeah, that I don't even need to explain like that right off there. Please think twice. Next, people will come up to me and say, Have you been doing this like your whole life? Your whole life? Like, like when I was like three? I wasn't doing readings when I was three. No, 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 but did you see things? This is a category I fall into. Yes, I talked to beings and I saw things and I had imaginary friends. And I remember when my family would go to bed and I literally sit up talking or just being with other energies. I just knew they were there. And I actually had another psychic confirm with me because I had a kind of like a situation where I got a bit of a fright and another psychic said to me, "Oh, so and so is coming through, a relative of mine, and they want to apologize for something that happened when you were a little girl." And they explained the situation perfectly. And I was like, I knew it was a relative. I knew it was. They caught me off guard. Does it make you a better reader because you've been doing it all those years? No, I turned mine off. I got scared. And I went about my life day to day. And people have come back and told me, you were just different. You know that. You were different as a kid. You were different as a teenager. Yeah, I'm neurodivergent. I am different on so many levels. I could always sense energy. I jumped on a plane and moved to Japan. You know, like eh, I do a lot of impulsive stuff. But was I like a trained psychic or reader my entire life? No, no, that doesn't make me a better reader. It doesn't make me a better reader. Um, Usually when people start doing this work, they realize they had experiences when they were younger, right? Because when you're young and curious and you trust the world, you will pick things up. You will. So, yeah, doing it your whole life doesn't mean you're a good reader. I've met readers who have trained it with under mentors and they're everyday Joes, Janes, whatever. And they've only been doing it for a year, or even sometimes they've just finished a course and their mentor has said, go do a fair. Just go try a fair. Offer like 15-minute reading. Just get your toes wet. And they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. Hitting it out of the ballpark. So I have seen that proven time and time again. Even in my intuition circle, it's everyday women getting together who work all kinds of jobs. Some of them are psychics, like they're professional psychics, or they're curious about getting into healing and becoming a psychic down the line. But they are everyday people who come and practice their intuition with me twice a month, just so they can apply it to their life. And it's like our secret sauce. And they're not from their childhood. They haven't been doing this from their childhood. Not not necessary. Next is um in their marketing, they'll say like, I will remove that block. One session, one shot, pew, 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 in and out. I will fix you. I will remove those curses you're going on about. If you're ever in a reading with someone and they start saying you're cursed, oh, please get your money back. I'm not saying there isn't a belief system out there where that's strong. I once sat in a fair and I listened to somebody through the curtain. This was in Toronto. And every person that came to the table, they were cursed. They needed to buy an ointment. They needed to buy an elixir. They needed to buy a healing outside the reading, or else they were going to keep coming back. It drove me bonkers. It drove me bonkers. I just stayed in my lane. First of all, you're never broken. You're never broken. You need to shift. You need to, and let me put this in perspective. You may need a healing. And when I say by healing is an energy shift, If you're coming to me for a reading, I will try to gauge, but you might need a specific healing and coaching and guidance to help you shift your mindset or rewrite pathways or do some neural work, right? I also have a background in hypnotherapy and NLP. So yeah, that is, yeah. Spend 10 minutes with me and I remove all your blocks on money. What they're going to probably do is just get you into the energy of belief, momentary belief that, everything is positive and happy and set you up on some affirmations and give you one or two cues. And then you go do it and you feel great for a couple of days and maybe you'll get money, which is phenomenal. Um, or you'll feel better about yourself, but then the energy comes back, life comes back. So they haven't given you the tools how to actually navigate. So that's where I'm cautious about those readings. They feel a little too hocus pocusy for me. Um, and you're not broken. You're not. Next one is you don't talk. That means the reader's going to sit there and download and channel, and they're going to talk the full like 30 minutes, 20 minutes of the hour. It has its place. Like sometimes I shush people. I'm like, if you want me to talk to so and so, you've already told me who you want me to talk to. I need to gather evidence for you. That's great. Thank you. You want to talk to so and so, but I need the evidence. I need you to be quiet. I don't want to know anything else. I will validate back with you. And I have to shush them because they keep talking. Like, am I saying too much? I'm like, like, ask me a question. I love it when people come to me with their questions because it's their gosh darn reading, not mine. I have no right to hijack it. Oh no, Spirit and Source is going to tell me what you need to know. Bull cookies. I have done thousands of readings. I've traveled across Canada twice doing fairs. I have done so many online readings. I can't tell you the number of times people walk out of events saying, well, she talked about my career, but I wanted to talk about love. Or she was all over the place, but I wanted to ask about this, but I didn't want to interfere. If you're not allowed to ask a question in your reading and you put the reader on a pedestal, you're not ready for a reading. And also that reader, you're almost giving them carte blanche to not only read, go into the energy, but they might start just delivering their own ethos, their own ideas, their own way of doing stuff. Like I've heard complaints about readers just talking about themselves the entire reading. Like when I have to give a real life example from me, I usually pause the clock because sometimes spirit and source works through my life to give me an understanding of how to convey it. So I'll pause the clock. I'm not going to talk about me on your time, even if it does clarify a point. So again, if you are not allowed to talk or even ask a question, it's your reading and you shouldn't be a lazy, energetic person. You should be involved in your reading. You should be allowed to be curious. Say more. Is there any direction? Ask. And the last point I have, it's that they have all the answers. Now, there are some readers out there that are phenomenal with names, dates, places, like not all of them, but they're with bits and pieces, right? Some are more clairvoyant, some are which they can see, some are more clairaudient. They have songs and words and phrases, symbols. Uh, it's a blend, right? Anybody who says they have all the answers, I want you to turn around and run. Because if they had all the answers, would they be doing this? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. So, as I said, you know, they they may have a couple of these in their marketing because it can explain how they got there, their origin stories, their background, but it's not the only thing. That's not, please don't make that the only reason why you go see them. Okay? Look for these other elements as well. They can have some of the other ones, but yeah, Here's the other stuff. Green flags. First one, they have studied energetics like Reiki or like quantum touch or under another psychic. So they have done some type of sacred container work. They've learned about boundaries, they have learned about ethics, and they have worked with the different fields in the energy. They're intelligent. They've done their work. So please make sure they've studied in energetics. I went all the way through with Reiki Master Teacher. I did all of that, and that took me about 4 years to get, and a lot of work. And then with my tarot journey, that was probably 3 years studying, at least a year self-taught, and then I took courses live online and then some in person. And then I started practicing after Reiki sessions. I started doing Reiki sessions, and people would ask me to pull a card, and I started doing that. And then it just blossomed. I just ended up where I was. But they spent time learning. My big thing is ethics about energy and respect and free will. And if they actually worked with energy, then they know they just can't clear a block and then it's all done. We're onions, we have layers. You peel away one layer, there's going to be a new layer of something there. It's just how energy flows. We have 7 chakras. You're going to tell me you're going to unblock all 7 in 30 minutes? Yeah, you're going to unblock one and then you have to work on the other 6. There we go. Okay. Number 2, they've studied with a teacher online in a live class. I get it. With COVID, you can't get a lot of in-person training courses. So there's live online, right? And when you do live online, you do your readings and then you receive feedback from either your fellow readers or a teacher. So you grow. You learn how to work on delivery. You learn about ethics. You learn like how to like if you made a mistake or you tripped up or you started talking about yourself without clearly defining like this was the symbol and I want to convey. Um, and learning the ins and the outs under an actual mentor in real time, and you have a relationship with a mentor. That's key. That is key. Okie dokie. Um, I can't stress that enough. Uh, yeah. Ooh. Number 3. Yeah, I talked about this earlier. Your session is a conversation. It is your energy, your journey. They may talk about love, but if you want to talk about work, ask about work. And they're okay with it. I start off my sessions by saying, what did you come here for? Like, why are you going to drop $100 to talk to me? Or you just want surprised? You're going to drop $100 to be surprised. Or you're just looking for a good time. Right. So your session is a conversation. In my view, now this might be Fiona's view, it is a conversation that allows for curiosity, and spirit source will always guide the session. Always guide the session. Like if you were truly meant to talk about love and you start off with work, we will get there. We will get there every time. I haven't had people walk away without stuff covered. Never. Because I start off with what are your needs first? Let's get that dealt with first. And then all the other stuff I see floating around. Because literally for me, I can literally go anywhere. Where do you want to go? Right? You want mediumship? You want channeling? You want to go through your field? You want a medical intuitive? Like what's going on here? How can you use this 30 minutes? So there you go. Next, they look at possibilities, not certainties. So, am I going to get this job? The energy is leaning towards it. But if you don't get the job, here's your options. Because especially now with the energies and the frequencies and timelines moving faster, I'll be honest, I prefer to do if you get the job, if you don't get the job, right? I'm not going to tell you you're going to exactly get the job. I would love to. I would love to. Up there with the lottery numbers. I can tell you the energy around the situation. Because usually when somebody's getting a job, there's at least three or four other energies, hiring managers involved. That's a lot of energy for a job. And then I'm dealing with all the applicants. So, yeah, you have free will. And this is a second thing too, is they might tell you something is going to be happening or you have a strong predisposition for X, Y, and Z in the future, and you don't like it. You don't have to accept it. You have free will. They are literally reading possible energies. You can walk out of the event or leave the reading, Zoom reading, and choose differently. Yeah, just put that out there. Next, green flag takes your energy into account. If you have a ping or you notice something on a card and you get excited, or, oh, this is talking to me about my grandmother and da 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 da, then it is. And I get excited for you because your intuition is awakening. Your higher self wants to speak to you more clearly. I don't care if people start picking up their own stuff in a reading because they're there. We're sharing an energy field together. Our hearts are connected. And I literally try to approach a reading without an ego. Like I know what I say is true. It may not land with you right now, but I've had far too many incidents where people have said, "You're wrong." And then I get a call like a couple of days or a week later where they're like, "Oh my gosh, you were talking about a mechanic and dirty hands and oily hands, and I told you I didn't know anybody. And you kept talking about motorbikes and da 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 da. And oh, my partner, his best friend passed away and he was a mechanic and da da da." I'm like, mm-hmm. They were there. They were at the reading. You kept telling me no, 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 and I wasn't going to push it. It's had that happen too many times. You know what I mean? So I don't, if it doesn't land, I always say to people, put it in your parking lot, put it in the background. You're good. Just put it in your memory bank. And if it shows up later, it shows up later. Um, so it is a conversation. And I don't try to one up you. I've seen readers get competitive with other people. I once had a beautiful woman start reading me in a reading, and I'm like, well, first of all, I didn't give you permission, but okay, um, go ahead. So uh, it's your 30 minutes with me. How you want to spend it in the energy, we're gonna have fun, and it's gonna be safe. Six, um, experience maybe. So when you look at their background, if you look at their information, they may not have extensive experience as a reader, but they have life experience, you know. They may have had relationship breakups, or they've traveled the world, or they've worked in several jobs, or they've overcome toxic workplaces. That's valid experience. That's a real person. I like it when I see especially new psychics getting out into the big pond and swimming with us all. Um, Use their life experience. I was a banker, or I was a baker, or I was a stay-at-home mom, but I raised three kids. Dang, that's intense. That's life experience. It's the intuition of a mom. I haven't had kids. I've got cats, but yeah, mommy intuition, mm, super strong. So before before I end off, I just want a couple more tips. If you're looking for fun and to just be entertained, good readings cost between $100 and $200. I would say save your money. Save your money for when you actually need guidance, right? when you need support, when you need someone to work you through your energy and help you shift the situation, to give you different perspectives and different paths for you to operate. Say, save your money. Go get an aura reading, go get a palm reading, go get your numerology done. If you just want some fun, numerology is great. Even an astrology reading, it can be entertaining. But again, if you're, some astrologers are serious about their biz, where it's like they look at your chart and want to give you like direction. We're here to help. Readers are here to help, to guide. We don't step into this, especially in a world that's changing and shifting and not necessarily kind all the time to this type of work. We're here to serve. We're not performing monkeys. So I'd say save your money for when you are ready and you want direction, you have an idea, maybe you want help with love, health, career, uh, or I love doing readings for parents or grandparents about their siblings or their kids because I can do I can read family members through them, but I can't tell you their actual path, but I can talk about how you can assist their journey. I love doing those. Um, so it's, yeah, I just save your money because we are here to serve. We are here to help. So respect works both ways, right? Um, and lastly, if you're listening to all this and you're like, oh my gosh, Fiona, I just don't know. I don't even know how to choose a reader now. Follow your heart. At the fairs or these big events, I always say to people, just walk around, sometimes pick up their card, maybe talk to them for a little bit. Try to talk to them and maybe not their front person. And if they're not available, the front person is there to pitch them. So I've heard many times where they're like, oh, they're the only one in here that can do X, Y, and Z. Don't go to them. No matter what. I still hear it at fairs where they're like, oh, no, I support everyone. And I'm like, I just heard you bash so and so. Um, just pick up the information, right? And head outside and just look through it and see what resonates. You know, some of the red flags now are things to make you go, and just look for like a counterbalance, right? And then go back in and just see where you're drawn. Because wherever you feel safe, your energy will flow, right? And that's an affair. And that's the thing about fairs as well. If you do a reading, if they make you pay in advance at a reading, at a fair, which I do, um, and within 5 minutes, you're like, hell's knows. You're like, there's no connection, or they can't connect with you. Um, you can ask for your money back. You can ask for a refund. And if they won't refund, go to the event organizer. Okay. If you feel unsafe or there's inappropriate language or it's it's inappropriate, which I've heard, I I've heard of, you know, a reader without a background in nutrition recommending to someone who is diabetic, type 2 diabetic, to start juicing. And nowhere in there did they say, go see your doctor. You know, so again, use your common sense as well. In the reading, you have the right to say, you know what, we're going to stop this here. This is not, I want my money back. You might get a partial refund if you're halfway through the reading. If the person isn't willing to do it, just go to the event organizer. They are there to ensure the reader's safety and your safety. And they will refund. They will refund or give you some kind of discount. Um, I only one time did I ever have to refund someone. And I was warned by their family that this person doesn't necessarily fully understand what they're doing. And so the next day they complain and um, they wanted their money back. So I was actually waiting for that refund because I knew they actually had health issues and may not have agreed. and perceived the session as it was. But other than that, I've witnessed a lot of refunds from other people. I have stopped, I think, in my entire career for people about 2 or 3 minutes in where I'm like, I'm not reading for you. Either I was getting like wrong energy from them. They were lying to me. I know one person was full out lying to me and trying to get me involved in a situation. And yeah, uh, that's 4 out of thousands of readings. So take this advice with a grain of salt. Because I always say that you've got free will. You're amazing. You're beautiful. Use your free will. You're awesome. Now you have a little bit of an understanding about marketing tactics and what to look for. And hopefully you'll get out there and have amazing readings, okay? With amazing readers. And if you want to be working on your intuition or you want to learn a little bit more, I've got a couple of options. I have a 6-week live online course called Become an Intuitive, where we start working on these skills. But I also have the Intuition Circle, which is a monthly membership where we work on it twice a month in practice classes. I also have a monthly energy ritual, meditation. I also have a healing class, and then we do card readings once a month. So it's a great space, sandbox to work and grow. So if you're interested, go check out the links below. If you like this, please like, subscribe, share with people. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. Take care, everyone.